and welcome to another episode of the Mastadon Creates podcast, episode 33. My name is Tori, or Victoria, the mastermind behind the crazy, and thank you for joining me today. Just before we jump into the episode, you can find me on the internet at Instagram, where I'm most active as Tori Schaffner. You can find me on Ravelry as lilwestie, Lilwestie. You can of course find me on the blog mastadon.wordpress.com, as well as YouTube and Victoria Schaffner, I believe, on there, and then Facebook. I have a Woolly Mastodon page as well as my personal, but I'm not as active there. So if you want to see what I'm working on a regular basis, definitely check out Instagram. With that, it is a lovely Sunday. It is October 18th. Kind of gloomy, but that is okay because it's fall. And I have a few things to share this week. Maybe not as many as I wanted, but I'm holding on one now. So we might as well just jump into finished objects because I do have a few, and I'm checking my notes so I don't forget any. The first one, which you guys probably would have guessed you'd be seeing, is the Shadow Play Wrap by Alexandra Tobble. I have not taken finished object photos of this, so I don't have anything to insert at this time, but I think you can kind of see what we've got going here. So this was knit out of Barocco Vintage in four different colors. Gray is a color. Hello. 4 different colors on US 8 5mm needles. They are colored numbers, so I have the numbers listed on both Ravelry and my show notes if you're curious what I used. But I start with this gray, down to a purple, to a teal, to a peach, and then finish off with a little gray. And you may be thinking, Tori, is this actually done? I think you mentioned tassels last time, that you were absolutely going to put the tassels on here. Well, I decided against it for several reasons. First of all, if I ever want to wear this around the house here, Midnight would go crazy over the tassels and the shawl would be destroyed. That's kind of based off of when I blocked this, because there were a few ends. I like to weave in the ends but not cut them until it's finished blocking. And she wanted to attack those ends something fierce. So figuring that tassels, I already knew this, but I figured tassels would be a bad idea if I was ever going to wear it here. Also, I do want to wear this at work, and because of where the bottom of the triangle would hit, I'd be sitting on that tassel. And I feel like these tassels on the ends would just be getting in the way. So for style, I think tassels would definitely finish this. Make this look like a more trendy, complete product. But for me, at the end of the day, functionality wise, for what I want to use this for, it's not going to do it. I mean, it's great. It's like, it's what I wanted it to be. I'm glad I added that extra skein at the bottom because it is nice, it's squishy, it's large. I have it over the chair right now, but like it's amazing. I could tie these in the back like I often do and then kind of have it like a little bolero. Yeah, this is gonna be perfect. I haven't brought it to work yet because I wanted to show you guys first, but I need to take finished object photos too, but I think this will start coming with me to work because it is so soft. So that is my first finished object. I wanted this done just because it is fall and it's that time of year. I actually want to be wearing this, so I'm so glad it's done. But again, Shadow Play Wrap by Alexandra Tobble. It's a really easy, it's a free pattern on her blog, or you can pay for a PDF version minus the images and ads if you want. I just use the free pattern. And it's squishy and garter stitch. I kind of veered off the pattern because I wanted to use as much of the yarn as possible, and then I added the gray at the bottom, which is not in the pattern. So I'm really happy with this. So that is my first finished object. It's so large, but that's okay. We'll put that there. My second finished object, actually we're going to do this one first, and it's mostly finished, and I say mostly finished because this is on a blocking board right now, and yes, I have a child Cinderella or Disney Princess playmat as my blocking board. I just used the the foams, the not printed side, because when you can get them discount, they're $8,000 cheaper than actual blocking mats. So pro tip. I think I spent $6 on this entire set at most. So, but anyway, this is an aerial snowflake by Irina Moliva. It's a crochet pattern. I used a 2mm hook and then some about size 10 crochet cotton. And this is what we've got going. Let's see if it's actually, are we in frame? I hope so. But this is done, except it is currently being blocked with a glue and water mixture to make it stiff. The little one it's not a pattern, it's just something I winged. It looks kind of weird, but the whole point of that was to test if, it was just a test to see if the glue mixture would work. And I figured, I immediately did this one after because I was worried that on this it would get a white cast immediately, and if it doesn't, so I did the big one too. So these are still damp, I did them this morning, but yeah, I crocheted a snowflake and I think it's really pretty. I used the crochet hook in the middle, so I used this one, and I do plan to maybe do one in this color for myself, and maybe use some of this red crochet cotton for another one. I do have an idea for it. I'm not sure if I'll be able to execute it or not, but I kind of want to make it look like it has snow on it, so we'll see. We'll see. But for now, this is complete. It's been a while since I've done read an actual crochet chart, and so it took me, it took me an extra couple minutes to actually like get used to reading a crochet chart again, because I do way more knitting than I do crochet at this point. But I mean, I whipped this out last evening, so it takes a little while. It took me longer because I've never done this pattern before, but when I do it again, it'll be a lot faster. So this is technically done. It's just drying. So that is my second finished object. And then my final finished objects, plural, are, you're probably not surprised. Let me take my pouches out of here. But this is a basket full of cotton yarn. And you may see this and just go, okay, she's at it again. I am indeed. I am knitting dishcloths again. So I have actually finished, whoops, I dropped one. I have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I finished 5 in the last week. So I have been doing some dishcloth knitting. I finished this one. This one was about halfway done. And this is kind of like a crazy variegated color. And then I finished 4 in this deep blue, and it's definitely darker than it is pulling here in the image. It's like it's not navy, but it's like a very deep dark blue. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, so I'm working on those, and debated making these for gifts for people, but I mean, I always like to have these on hand because they're a handy gift to give. You know they'll get used. You can tell people they don't have to be precious with them. You can throw them in the wash, you can throw them in the dryer, you can bleach them, whatever. And when they snag or they get cut, just throw them out. I'll make more if you like them, you know? So I just have been on a washcloth making kit. I debated doing washcloths for Christmas, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what I do. But anyway, so yeah, family, probably won't be washcloths. Although if you want some, let me know. But yeah, my family is used to receiving washcloths for gifts. But anyway, those are done. But we'll just move into works in progress then, because obviously, same deal. Oops. I have yet another blue dishcloth on my needles. These are all knit out of I Love This Cotton from, who sells this? This is Hobby Lobby. I honestly don't know. I've had this in my stash for years. I think it's Hobby Lobby, but I Love This Cotton, And I used to not like this cotton, actually. I liked Peaches and Cream or Sugar and Cream better. But I crocheted some makeup remover rounds in this, and this is very, very soft cotton. And originally I had it in my head that these would not be as durable or work as well in the kitchen for washing dishes. And I'm actually 100% wrong. It works, I would say, just the same. And the bonus is that if you're using this for face cloths or you're crocheting, like I've crocheted makeup remover rounds before, this is gonna be what you want to use if you can get it, because it's so much softer. It doesn't scratch or anything like that. And I'm not saying Sugar and Cream or Peaches and Cream is super scratchy, but it's not less soft. So I'm about halfway done on a second washcloth. You can just see it. And let's see. This is knit on US 6, I believe, millimeter needles. Yep. And then I've just, like I said, I love this cotton in dark denim. But I've got miscellaneous, I've got full skeins, I've got partial skeins of cotton, and I'm just going to town. And this is just sitting in here. I've started my second skein of this, so once that's gone, the rest will go in the monster skein of cotton yarn. But for now, that is my first work in progress. So there is that. Admittedly, I haven't been working on a lot of other things, although like I started that crocheted snowflake last night and did that to completion. Well, I did the test and that. The thing that kind of has been still taking over my knitting and crochet time, where is the hook? Somewhere in here, is this granny stripe blanket. I can't stop. This is still the first cake, but compared to the size it was last time, I'd say I've halved the size of the cake. I need to make a few more. I need to start the next cake, but I'm kind of waiting until I see what color is in the middle because I can't fully remember, because then I'm going to base the next color off of that. So that's the only thing I'm doing for color management. But this is the granny stripe blanket. It's Attic 24's pattern, but I didn't follow their numbers. I just crocheted a chain the width of our queen size bed. And actually this seems really short now, which doesn't really matter because we'll just cuddle up in this anyway. Yeah, this feels like this isn't as wide as the queen size bed anymore, but that doesn't really matter because guess what? It's gonna be a couch blanket in reality. But yeah, I think this might actually be too narrow now, but that is no problem to me. But yeah, I am just crocheting away. I made one monster skein with magic knots, and this is all leftover sock yarn that I have knit socks and shawls out of over the years. So I've got a bit of a stash. I will not have enough to complete this blanket, hands down. So eventually, maybe next year, I'll fulfill my dream of getting a indie dyed advent calendar with mini skeins. I mean, it's expensive, but it's the equivalent of however many skeins of yarn you would get at the end of the day, so I have to remember that, but it's a chunk of change to put out, but someday I'd like to get one of those. But for now, I'm just using scraps, and I'm always knitting in fingering weight yarn. The more I work with fingering weight, the more it's kind of my favorite at this point. So this is like all I've been working on. I'm using a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. This is actually a Knit Picks crochet hook, and actually I use the Knit Picks crochet hook in the 2 millimeter for my snowflake, as I point out over it, because you can see that clearly. But yeah, this has been a very addicting crochet. It's very methodic, it's meditative, you don't have to think about it, it's calming. I can crochet on this in the car. It's still a very travel friendly project, especially in the sense that like if you're in a car or something like that, I'll still frankly crochet on it at my desk. It's not that big yet. I mean, it's long, but they know I'm a crocheter and a knitter, so they don't care, and one of my coworkers is too, so they understand. They know what it is. They don't have to readjust to something new. But yeah, so this has kind of been taking up a lot of my time, and it doesn't really look like it, but it takes a long time to crochet an entire row on here. So that has been something I've been working on a lot. Let's see here. It's in my Knit-Picks, I should say, kitten bag. It's so cute. And it still fits in here, obviously. And probably once I finish out that first cake, I'll have to think about upgrading my size bag. But that is my second work in progress. I have one more. I haven't done a whole lot of work on it, so I'm going to put that out here. But I will share it. Featherweight by Hannah Fettig. It's a fingering weight sweater. It's a cardigan. And again, have I even showed you have I done any knitting on this since we last saw it? I don't think I was in the middle of a row last time. No, because last time I knit on this, our next door apartment building was being evacuated for a gas leak. So I immediately stopped knitting because our entire, there are lots of apartment buildings on our street, and the entire street was flooded with police cars, an ambulance, and fire trucks. So I stopped. That's why we're in the middle of a row. And I haven't done that since. That was last week, so yeah. There's really nothing to see here. I haven't gotten very far. But this is on US 3.25 millimeter needles, and this is the Knit Pick Stroll Tonal in the Eucalyptus colorway. And I maybe put like an inch of knitting on here. Maybe. I should pick this back up because this is a really easy knit too. It's just stockinette right now and some increasing. So it's nothing really too bad that you have to think about. So I really should just get back on this because I enjoy the product and I'm enjoying the knit. I just haven't worked on it much. So that is on the needles. This has kind of been a dream project that I've wanted to work on for a long time. So, and the yarn. Super pretty. Yeah, not much to share on that one. That's my last active work in progress. I haven't worked on anything else. So yeah, not a whole lot to chat about this week along the lines of knitting and crochet. I've been spending most of my time on dishcloths and that granny stripe blanket. So obviously I need some really basic knitting right now. So that's what I've been working on. Just checking to make sure I don't miss anything. No, no spinning updates, no sewing updates. I was gonna sew masks this weekend, and then I decided to do something else, which we'll talk about in Life Lately. Yeah, so I don't think I'll sew masks today because I was going to podcast earlier, and then my neighbors decided that it was time to play loud music. So I had to defer that, and actually I apologize if you hear any because there's still a little bit, but it's calmed down considerably. So hopefully you don't hear that. But anyway, we'll move on to upcoming cast-ons. I gotta figure out something for Christmas eventually. I have some ideas. I think I'm close to what I'm actually gonna do. I just have to figure it out. So that's kind of the main thing. And it's basically come down to I need to make the Christmas gifts this year. I have the materials to do it, and in order to make something that matters, make something that maybe will actually have a memory to it for people and saves us a little money because we can't really afford to spend on a whole lot of gifts this year, which is totally fine. And I have the ability and the materials and the time, if I use it wisely, to do it. So I should just do it. And most people seem to appreciate it, so I need to get on that. Stash enhancements, none. Same deal. Been doing other things, spending money on other things, and yeah, just trying to save money for now. Non-knit loves. I don't really have anything new to share with you. I'm still really enjoying my bullet journal, which is over there. I think I finally found a system that I can stick to because basically I've turned it into if I need to write down notes, if I want to plan my week, if I just need to remember dates, or I need to remember something that schedule something or whatever, I put it in there, and it seems to be a good tool because I'm actually teaching myself to always put my notes there as opposed to elsewhere, so I don't have sticky notes everywhere and I'm not quite as chaotic. I'm still not on top of things like I once was, but it's a process. I'm enjoying it. I've got my, well, here, let's grab it. Sorry. I've got my trusty bullet journal, which is really cute. It's just something I had gotten for like $6 at Barnes & Noble, and ironically I got it here in Madison a couple of years ago, before we lived here. But yeah, it's really cute. And I've got my little pouch of my, what are these? Zebra midliners, which are really fun. They're like highlighter markers, which I've been enjoying. And then my pouch that I've had since college. The only addition that I have to share is I didn't realize I had a brand new Micron 005 pen. So it's like the fine, I believe it's the finest one they make. And I love a good Micron pen. It's like my favorite art pen. So I was really glad to realize I had a brand new one, and I've been using that. But yeah, other than non-lit loves, don't really have a whole lot, so we're just gonna move right along into life lately, because yeah, what have I been doing lately? I will admit that I have indeed been playing Animal Crossing every night since we got the game. Hi. I've never in my life done something like this. So it's safe to say I really enjoy it. My husband not as much as I do, but I really enjoy it, and yeah, it's weird. I think it's just the fact that it's not like timed, there's no trials, it's just totally you do what you want basically, and you can fulfill tasks if you want to, but if you don't want to, whatever. I've just been really enjoying it. It's like building a little town. It's Sims, but not. I never played Sims, so I don't know. But yeah, I've been enjoying it, so I've been spending time on that. I would say at first it was taking time out of knitting, but I've kind of realized that I've been doing that instead of sitting and staring into space if I'm tired but not ready for bed, or instead of scrolling aimlessly on my phone. I've been doing that. So it has taken some knitting and crochet time out of my week, but I think I've kind of curtailed it back because like at first I was like, I just want to play this, and now I'm like, I want to play it for a little while, but I still want to knit, so I'll play it and then I'll knit. So it hasn't taken time away like I worried for a little while there. Other than that, what else? Oh yeah, we got a car. My husband now has a Kia Soul. It's funny because it's in those old hamster Kia Soul commercials. All I can think of is calling it the hamster mobile, but I personally like that car, so it's nothing against the car. I've always thought they were cool. Unfortunately, it's not a bright neon color. It's only gray, but that's okay. It's better than what we had. So now hopefully this will alleviate the stress of always worrying if we're going to break down for that vehicle. So that was big. That's why we're saving money over here. Because yeah, cars are expensive and car loans can be expensive. But yeah. So that's kind of been what's going on here. We spent a lot of time these last 2 weeks ago now finalizing everything once we decided what we were going to do. So there is that. But otherwise, yeah, fall is here. It's finally getting cooler here, which I am all about because I've been knitting all my hand knit sweaters and loving it. But otherwise, yeah, not a whole lot, not much more to report. It's been kind of chill, which I am all for. I am ready to curl up on the couch in a blanket. I am ready to crochet and knit my heart away, and apparently now play Animal Crossing. I need to sew a few more masks, but yesterday I'm probably gonna punt it that again this weekend because I spent 2 hours at a laundromat yesterday washing all of our bedding. Apartment life. But yeah, so kind of changed my plans for the weekend, but I'm glad I got it done because I hate going to the laundromat and it's just nice to have it taken care of. But yeah, anyway, other than that, I probably should let you guys go. You're sick of hearing me ramble. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends, comment below. Let's build this little community on the interwebs. And again, you can find me on Instagram as Tori Schaffner, Ravelry as lilwestie, Lilwestie. You can of course find me on the blog, woolymastodon.wordpress.com, the Facebook, although I'm not as active there, and then of course on YouTube. Let's see. Is there anything else I have to share? I feel like I haven't done this in so long. No, I don't think so. So I hope you have a couple of great weeks ahead, and I'll see you in my next podcast.